Speaking of
Also,
winners,
at some point in this, I have a investigative journal point, but y'all continue.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
just so y'all know.
okay,
Jax,
okay,
Oh, yeah.
you've seen both teams play.
We
Go
gonna
ahead.
run the clip first so they can know.
yeah. Run. Let's hit this real quick. Let's circle back to what y'all were talking
All right,
about at the beginning of the
let's do
show. Let's circle
Okay,
back
let's
just
do
real
it.
quick.
Well, these first four games came in several years ago when one team left conferences, and now it was about how many automatic and at-large bids are going to be. So they just added teams to the field. And originally it was going to be all the 15 and 16 seeds playing each other. And the first four wasn't a big deal because right now people don't really care about the tournament games until we get to the first Thursday when the 64 team field starts. So they started putting like big shot 11 seeds against each other for viewership. And because the 15s and 16s felt it was a stigma for them to play in those games, that it's just sort of the bottom of Division I playing in those games. And so now you have a game we were all watching, North Carolina, San Diego State. We were all interested in that. So it's really a TV play in my view. And one last thing, I'm sorry to go on too long, but one last thing about the selection process. I used to kind of lose my mind about 8 or 10 years ago about decisions like North Carolina versus West Virginia or Ohio State or Indiana, because I always felt like the committee year after year was not sticking to the principles that they said were important. But because they do this every year, there are these decisions that don't make any sense relative to their rhetoric. I've kind of said, you know what, they're going to do this every year, and it's like complaining about the lines at the DMV. We can complain all we want to; it's not going to change. They're going to keep doing this, so you might as well just I don't even care anymore. Put them in the field, and then we'll deal with the tournament.
Who's that guy? Oh,
So, fellas, okay, and we'll just because I'm tired of hearing about it. Like we just won by 30 and we're still got people talking about we shouldn't be in the field. People, I don't know why, but for some reason, people keep on ignoring the fact that like college basketball at this point is a business, right? Like, and they keep on ignoring the fact that nobody wants to see any of those other teams outside of the bubble as opposed to North Carolina, right? Like unbiased as you possibly want to be. I could go down the street here where I live and I could ask anybody, hey, would you rather watch West Virginia or North Carolina play? North Carolina. Would you rather watch who is the other team? Heck, would you rather watch San Diego State or North Carolina play? North Carolina. Right? So it's like people just have acted as if the whole viewership and the TV and everything like that doesn't play into it. And so to kind of what, y'all were hitting on, it's like, guys, like I get it. We win, right? We talk about winners. North Carolina usually isn't in this situation. I mean, heck, Charlie, I don't even know when UConn, I'm not even, trying to think back a little bit. When has UConn really been in this kind of situation, right? If UConn was in the same situation, it'd be the same thing. Like who wants to watch UConn or West Virginia? You know what I'm saying? And the TV, the viewership is always going to go towards UConn in North Carolina, right?
Absolutely agree.
That's my thing with this whole thing. Okay, you can have your opinion initially, right? Okay, hey, you do all these metrics, whatever. NCAA didn't stick to it, right? Then all of a sudden you start coming up with all these other excuses, and I think Cam, you got it's like a 10, 15-second clip or however long it is of the with Bubba Cunningham.
Yeah, you mean run it right now?
Yeah, so it's okay. Before you run it, it's, now I'm starting to see things of Bubba Cunningham. Or AD. He was in the room when they were making decisions. North Carolina got in because of this, and y'all can go and play the clip. And then
you are the athletic director of the University of North Carolina in your day job, so it's going to be a natural question for people who don't know all those procedures.
Then obviously I'm going to defer that to Keith, but all the policies and procedures were followed, and Keith can address exactly how North Carolina was discussed, because I was not in the room for any of that.
Yeah, thanks, Bubba. And Seth, I appreciate the question. As the vice chair, I managed all the conversations that we had about North Carolina. We had quite a few. Our policies require the AD of any school to recuse themselves and actually leave the room for those discussions. And they're not allowed to participate in any vote as well. So we followed those, had lots of discussions about North Carolina. Saturday night we took our final vote, and we voted in 4 teams in the field on Saturday night, and we had a contingency vote. And the contingency vote, that was the last team in the field. And it was based on Memphis and UAB. If Memphis won that game, then that was going to free up a spot in the tournament, and that was going to be North Carolina. If UAB had won, then Memphis was going to be in the tournament, UAB would have been in the tournament, and North Carolina would have been the first team out. And so that process played out today. Memphis won, and that put North Carolina in the field.
Yeah, so yeah, that was my investigative journalism thing I was going to talk about.
So, I mean, all these, I get it. TV, they want to, North Carolina was the hot topic to talk about, right? But all these other people that are like doubling down on saying that them winning the first game and heck, even however far they make it into the tournament means absolutely nothing. Yeah, it does, right? Like it does. Like you can have the opinion of, hey, they shouldn't have been originally put in the tournament. But then if you win games in the tournament, you prove that you should be in the tournament. That's just how it is, right? Like,
period. That's just it's just a, what's corny about it, in my opinion, is just like an easy cop-out. Because if they lost, Ray, do you know what the uproar?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jax, could you imagine if they lost? They'd be like, that's exactly why they shouldn't have been in. But they won.
Hit the Kanye.
And now it's like, this doesn't mean anything. We still feel like they shouldn't have been there. No. What you thought was what everyone thought was right. They deserve to be here because they've been one of the best teams in the country in the last month. Eye test matters. Is this team good enough to be in the NCAA tournament? They have played some of the best basketball this month, in the past month and a half, whatever you want to call it. And it's a simple fact. And the committee saw it. That was their opinion. They voted them in. They proved themselves. That's all. I promise you, that'll probably be the most viewed 11 seed game that you'll ever see. Because everyone wanted to see if North Carolina really deserved to be in the tournament. And because they did, and they beat the shit out of them, now it's crickets. That's what I got a problem with.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, now you want to double back and say it doesn't matter. That's corny to me, bro.
It doesn't matter.
That's so corny. It doesn't matter now because they won by 40.
Feel, right?
And they didn't just beat them,
just
Jax.
saying, bro. It just makes me mad, bro. Like
Obama got y'all beaten.
The hate is so real. All these media outlets is just talking crazy. All these dudes has got so much to say about North Carolina. Like, you just hating.